Hi there, this is Jonathan Ginsberg, and I'd like to talk to you today about one of the more frustrating aspects of owing money, and that is the harassing phone calls you get from creditors as well as bill collectors, and how bankruptcy can stop those phone calls. First of all, it's important to understand that there is a difference between phone calls from actual creditors and from bill collectors. Bill collectors are subject to something called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act, and that means that you can send them a letter, which we call a drop-dead letter, that basically tells them they've got to stop calling you. So my point is that if you are getting calls mainly from bill collectors and you really need a few weeks or a couple of months to figure out what to do, you can send one of these drop-dead letters. Basically it just says, please stop calling me pursuant to the FDCPA, and they've got to stop. Creditors themselves are not subject in most cases to the FDCPA, so that won't work with the actual creditors. But either way, when you're getting these phone calls, it can make it very difficult to think. It can make it very difficult to come up with a plan of action. I know I've had people who are in sales or who have jobs that there's a certain level of pressure with the jobs anyway, and they're getting these phone calls dozens of times a day demanding payments. Sometimes the bill collectors or creditors will ask for post-dated checks or ask for access to bank accounts, things like that, which you absolutely want to avoid. And the big picture here is that if you file bankruptcy, literally the minute you file bankruptcy, the automatic stay in bankruptcy goes into effect, and that stops all the phone calls. And basically what that means is that if you are getting these phone calls, you file bankruptcy, you then give the bill collector or creditor representative the case information, Mr. So-and-so, I've just filed bankruptcy, here's my case number, leave me alone, they've got to leave you alone. And bankruptcy, as you probably know, the minute you file the bankruptcy, the automatic stay goes into effect, but really nothing else happens for about 30 days. We have a certain amount of time to complete the paperwork, about 2 weeks, and then the first hearing is about 30 days. So you basically have about a month to decompress and figure out what to do. Obviously, the more planning we can do ahead of time, the better. But big picture is, if you're being basically bothered by these phone calls, if they're driving you crazy, bankruptcy is a way to stop that. And no matter what any of these creditors tell you, the minute you file bankruptcy, the phone calls by law have to stop. And if you notify them about the bankruptcy and they don't stop, or if they get no written notice from the court and they don't stop, you have the right to pursue damage claims against the bill collectors, the creditors, for violation of both the bankruptcy stay as well as the FDCPA. So most creditors understand that and they take it pretty seriously. But if you are being harassed by phone calls and you need to make them stop, one way to do that is to use the bankruptcy code and the automatic stay provision to make the phone calls completely stop immediately. Hope this has been helpful. Again, I'm Jonathan Ginsberg. Any questions about Chapter 7 or Chapter 13, please feel free to let me know. Thanks a lot.